Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to final week. This week we're going to cover a couple things, and I'm going to cover two ways of doing it. All right, now I'm going to today use another site just to demonstrate this, and tomorrow we'll be demonstrating it on the actual site that you're using. The reason, I want you to be able to see the application. Now, I'm also going to show you two routes to do this. All right? So, announcements, please turn in any work that you need to turn in before Saturday. All right, that being said, hi Gracie, welcome to class. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, I just started getting ready. I just went over the announcements. Now we're going to go over what to expect this week in class. All right, so week 4, what we do is implement media queries to adjust the website's display for tablets and desktop devices. Now, did you use any CSS when you guys originally made these pages?
Yes.
Oh, cool. This is going to make it a lot easier for you. Now, I'm going to demonstrate 2 different routes to do this. All right. But today, I'm also using a different website to do this, because I want you to be able to see how the application and roll it over to the website you're using. All right. Now, the assignment this week, the assessment, not assignment, sorry, is part 1, add the required media query code for tablet display, for desktop display, and you've already got it set up for smartphone, correct?
Yes, I think I have mine done for smartphone and tablet.
Oh, nice. This will make it a lot easier.
I think.
You think. Okay, well, we'll get through that. All right, so as we see here, this is the one that we're working on. So let's take a look at our CSS here. All right, so we go over here. Our media query right there is the smartphone, right? So let's switch back over. Go to live view. All right, so that's this area right here, this size. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, normally, if you are setting up a website, you would have done some stuff prior. You would have, let's go back in here. You would have, like I said, I'm using another class's website to demonstrate today, right? You would have already had the mock-up, correct?
Yes, I still have that.
You have the mock-up. Good. Does it demonstrate?
That one there, the lawn care, yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. Now, do you have the mock-up for this class?
No, it didn't come with I didn't see it in the files.
Ooh, when you built the files originally, did it come with it? Did you guys do one?
From the previous, the PRG250
Yes.
No, she had us do all the CSS.
Ah, okay, but this here is a Photoshop mock-up.
Right. No, we didn't get that.
Oh, okay. Now, so this is some of the stuff we're going to discuss, because to get to here, you would actually start at what's called a wireframe. Black and white or grayscale. And it demonstrates everything without actually having graphics in it. Now, some people, as you can see here, have actually put the text in it. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's just filler text, okay? And the reason I'm going over this is because this would normally give you what the rest of the site looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now if I go back to here, we have our index, donate, and adopt. We've set them all up now. And our CSS, huh?
Don't forget wish list.
Oh, and the wish list, sorry, yes. So we've got all those set up. Now, the reason I'm going over this, because that will give you an idea of how these others are going to be. Right now, you could kind of guess and make your own up for the other two sizes, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, now did you type out the code?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so as you can see, here's all that code.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are going to actually set this up using the other side.
Okay.
So now
It's funny because I kind of took what I knew from that. In the 249 had started doing that.
okay. So we need to actually create a new to link to it. So we're going to say new site, PRG250-2. Okay, and notice I got rid of that CSS because we're going to create the CSS as we go through this. Today we're going to actually type it. Tomorrow we'll use the shortcut. Now, do you know how to use the shortcut?
Depends on which one you're talking about.
Ah, okay. All right, so now we're right here. This is where we're at. Okay, nothing is set up except everything's put in there, our HTML, our div classes, and everything, correct?
Correct.
So now, let's go to the CSS. We need to create a CSS. Very first, because we don't have one. This class, as you know, actually did, but I took it away. We're going to call it styles.css. And we're going to browse to where it's going to go. Right here. Okay. All right, now that's tied here. Nothing changed. All right, so when we talk about media queries, we're adding them right here. All right?
Right.
But we're not going to do that yet. Right now, I'm going to go into the CSS. And that's all I'm going to look at right now. All right, so we've got the CSS telling what basically we're using, right?
Right.
Right? Well, let's add some, huh?
I'm just listening.
All right, so next, we want our HTML because, well, that's what we're using, right? We have to have the open and the close. We have the HTML. Now, star open. And notice there's a close there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because that whole section is going to be control the HTML, okay? So we're going to have a padding, which as you can see, we have our padding. We just click it and it puts it in there. It's going to be 0. Semicolon separates, right? Ends that statement. Margin. We're going to do margin, same thing, 0, end it. Box sizing. Notice there's our box sizing, so I can just grab that. This is the good thing about this shortcut style of typing. If you're using another just regular program for typing the text, it doesn't always fill in for you. So this is a good thing about Dreamweaver. Box size is border box. Oh, good. Border box, semicolon. And the font family. Font family. All right, now, why do you have to type them all in if it's one family already together?
I've never thought about it.
Because that way it definitely ties it to them. All right, so as you can see, that's the one we want to use right there. All right. Semicolon. There's our first one. Okay. So now we're going to get into, we're going to still be using the header, the footer, and the body. All right. We're going to set up the main stuff here before we get into the CSS that we need for the other one. All right. So right now, what I need to do is the header. So we're going to set up the header. Okay, so the header padding is 32 pixels. What is the padding?
What you're gonna set it at?
Yeah, what's that mean? No, I mean, what's the padding do?
The space around the element.
Okay. And by just putting padding, no left, right, top, bottom, that does it to all four sides.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of this is going to be refresh for you guys. Now we have our footer. We have our padding, same thing, right? So the padding for that is going to be 20 pixels and 30 pixels. Well, with two of them, what's that do?
That is the top. Is it the left and right or the top and bottom?
Top and bottom.
Top and bottom.
Yep. Now notice, okay, if I don't close it, hit enter, it tabs it in because that's still part of that command. Now if I close it, it'll automatically put it in the right spot. All right, background color. Okay, we're background color. We can just scroll down, grab it. Is going to be pound. Excuse me for a second.
0, 0, 0, 0.
Say what?
0, 0, 0, 0.
No.
I know.
Nice try though. DBE DBE CF1 semicolon. All right, so that's it for that section. Now we go to the body. For the body, we're going to do margin left. Auto. Margin right, auto. Now, what does auto do versus 100%?
Automatically aligns to that device's browser.
Okay. And
Sizes.
Now, if I used 100%, wouldn't it do the same thing?
No, it goes to 100% of, like, say, if you're doing an image, 100% of the image.
Exactly.
Resize.
Exactly. So, yeah, see, a lot of this week then is apparently refresh, huh?
That, and I've had to do 3 websites this week.
Oh, that'll help. E6, F4, F8. E6, F4, F8. All right, now. Okay, now we're going to do the banner. And the button. Let's see, so the banner, HP, whoops, dash BA. Notice it's there because, well, it's over in the source code already. So it's just tying it to it. Right?
Uh-huh.
You sound like you're in a car.
No, I'm sitting outside.
Ah. background image. Okay, now, is there an easy way here to put a background image in there?
If you know the file location for, you can.
So if I went here, I can't grab that image. So really, there's no shortcut for this to put it in there. You have to actually type the whole thing. So the URL, images / homepage. And look, it's actually right there.
Auto suggest.
Uh-huh. Bannermobile.jpg. Semicolon. And so that's the background size. Okay, now background size, if we put instead of putting auto, we're going to put cover. What's the difference between cover and 100% then? Because wouldn't they do the same thing theoretically?
Kind of, but no.
Okay, where's the difference?
The difference is in cover, it covers the box, the margin, the element box.
Okay.
And 100% takes that image and puts it at 100%.
Got it, exactly. Something's not working right on my pixels for some reason. Pixels should be changing color, but they're not. So we'll put the color.
Has been acting funny.
Huh?
Dreamweaver has been acting funny.
Oh, it's been acting funny since they came out with this version.
Yeah, I'd start typing something and all of a sudden everything would be deleted. I was like, what the?
Yeah. And I found out how to bypass that last night.
Oh, great. I'd be glad to hear that.
Oh, okay. We can do that. Because, believe it or not, with this one, we actually have to worry about that. Semicolon. All right. Now we have and we're going to do the button. And this is the fun part. Okay, the border, as we've discussed, 2 pixels. Now, I'm putting in a color right there. So that just basically is going to be 2 pixels wide all the way around, the color F, and it's going to be a solid. As you can see, we have right there different choices. The solid. Wait a minute. Now the padding. Oops. Colon, not semicolon. I don't want to syntax error this early. Okay, so 8 pix, 30 pix. Yeah, Dreamweaver's been doing some really weird stuff lately. And it helps if I close it. Order radius.
Is that 8 and that space between the 8 and the X supposed to be there?
No. Good catch. Typo. Small syntax there, right? It would really mess it up, though.
Yeah.
And, you know, at least it's a lot better when I used to program on the Commodore 64, because when we do in computer language there, you'd have strings of numbers that were like five or eight long. And then you'd have a space, and you'd have 25 of those in a row. And you'd have to go back line by line, set by set, group by group to figure out where you made your typo.
Yeah, no. Good.
So, this is so much easier. Text declaration.
That would be like pulling out Notepad++ and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. All right. So that gets us down to the button. We have two more, and then we start going into the CSS that talks about how to do this. All right. And I'm going to do the tablet viewing first. Then I'm going to do the desktop. All right. And that'll get us up to the point we were, right? Up to the point of everything now tied in. All right. So what we do, easiest way to do this, so I know, and we're going to do this. What am I doing? What command is this?
Commenting?
Exactly. Close it. All right, so now we create. Now watch over here as I do this. All right? At media.
Thank you.
Open. Min width. Why is that saying that there's something wrong there? Min width. 768 pixels. All right, now what that does is that gives us the minimum width of a tablet, right? All right, there we go. Now it'll change colors. So now we're going to start with the body of it, which is the whole thing, right? The main part. Because the head and the foot don't show. The footer and the header do, but not the head and the foot. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the body, semicolon. And see how I was talking about the difference here? That puts it in because, well, it's open.
Oh, okay.
The max width is going to be 778. So it's about 10 pixels more, right? Okay, so now we're going to go to here. It's closed. Now we're going to do the banner. Dot. Now, nothing's over there yet. HP banner. Open. Same thing. There we go, background image. And again, now we have to put in the tablet version. And notice it's no longer coming up. You know why?
You didn't put URL?
Exactly. Very important step. Okay, so we now have that. Banner dash tablet. And semicolon. All right, now we are going to save this. This is now all the, basically this is all for tablet. So now we're going to go File, Save All Related Files. Now look, we just populated this over here. All right. So now if I click on the styles, notice there's what I have programmed, right? The body and the banner. All right, so let's go take a look what it looks like. Split. Notice nothing. Well, we started to. We get some of it. All right, as you can see, we've got some of it in there. We've now put them all there and added some colors. Okay, so next, well, now we want to do the desktop view. All right, now I'm going to show you a nice, easy way to do this. What do you think the easiest way to do this is?
Copy paste.
Copy paste. A programmer's best friend, right?
Ah, because if it's already written, don't rewrite it.
Yes. And you know, and a lot of people in most areas, most fields, that's called copyright infringement. But in programming, since there's only so many ways you can do everything, you cannot copyright the code. Right, so instead of tablet,
there are many people who try to say that it's copyrighted.
Oh, yes, they will try, and it's like, no, you can't. 1024 and 1200 is the minimum. And then instead of tablet, that's going to now be desktop. Right, file, save all related files. Let's take a look. And there we have it. We've now got all that in there. Okay, so next, well, at that rate, you've already got your, you already have your smartphone, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and you know what? I hate putting my smartphone at the bottom. The reason, if I'm going to start with the tablet right here, I might as well go continue that pattern of what's smaller, you know? So this will be
the flip phone.
Okay. The flip phone, yeah. All right, now the minimum. What would the minimum be for that?
Oh, is it 3 or 2? I don't have my cheat sheet.
480 approximately, the average. Now that's when this CSS was created, so that's been about 5 years. So it's still a good one, but any smaller, you're probably not going to be able to use it too well. Let's face it. All right, so now up here, notice up there, the others we put a 10 difference, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, with the smartphones, I like to go a little bit more and put a 20. So 798. And the reason? Because I want to give it that little bit of air for being able to be visible on a screen. Some people, that's a disagreement with a lot of programmers. All right, so save all related files. So now we are set up. That's how easy it is setting it up. Okay. So based on that, now we're going to take this and we're going to go back to the other class. All right, I'm going to.
What'd you have the smartphone body max with that?
798.
Okay, that's what I thought.
All right, now we've got this. Here is 328 to this. So let's take a look at the CSS. Around the CSS for this one. All right, so we go up, 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 up. This is all. Notice there's no marks here, okay? So what I'm going to do, whoa. What did I just do? Okay. All right. This is the container. Then everything's within. Now, if that's all smartphone, we get down here at the bottom. Well, what do we have in the media then? All that is tied into that. Because now I open it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first things first, is star smartphone size. All right, so now I have my smartphone set up. So what I'm going to do is take all that, copy it. Command V. All right, now this is going to be tablet size. T-A-B-L-E-T, right? All right, so the minimum width of a tablet is?
The 768.
768. And the max?
778.
78. All right, so let's go ahead, file, save all. There we go. But why isn't it here?
They haven't done desktop yet.
We just did the tablet, right?
Right.
So that's that little section right there, right? So why, if that's the case, do we have such a big difference in the other one?
In the desktop?
Okay, so we're going to save this. So we close that.
Oh, because at the very top, you don't have the HTML.
Ah, ha, ha. Okay.
I was going to ask you about that, but I was waiting.
Okay. So, like I said, this week is a lot of refresher for you guys. All right, so as we take a look, we have to have the HTML. And
usually you'd have like HTML and then P, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6.
Okay, and why?
Because it's a global.
Yep. So we're going to go back to here, go into here. Now, honestly, this is the one you guys have. You realize that. So we'll put that in there. File, save all. Now let's take a look. Still so tiny.
Yeah, but it's still on the big screen. It's showing the way it's supposed to. Until you put the desktop, because that's what Dreamweaver did to me. That's why I wanted to put tablet in.
Okay, well, look at the difference between the tablet and the smartphone. Let's go take a look at the code for the smartphone. Down. All right, so the smartphone, 321 to, look at that.
No body declared.
Huh?
No bodies declared.
Well, basically what you did here is you made it the same size as the tablet. So what they did, the person that wrote this, is they made it so that the smartphone and the tablet look exactly alike, and the screen will shrink within that area. So now I'm going to change this to 351. Let's do the 341, the normal, okay? We'll come down here, 768, 778. File, save all. And now, well, we're close, but now in between it won't do anything, right? Now I'm going to drag that to there. This one, here's where it messed up. Let's go back and look. All right, so now I just drug that over. So take a
Yeah,
look.
but you didn't save your CSS file. So it's,
Huh?
you didn't save the CSS file when you made changes.
Oh, but right now I'm just doing save all because I'm working straight encoding.
Oh.
See, now if you're working in the HTML or the split screen, you'll actually have to save all related. If you're working on the HTML page, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, our Dreamweaver's mood.
Or Dreamweaver, yeah, exactly, or Dreamweaver's mood. Now, here's the other issue. 768 maximum width. 1200. Well, save all. And there we go. So now if I click in here anywhere, there's still a little break in between those two. It's right there. Because they're the same, 768, 768. So for here, we're going to put 767. Don't you love how easy that actually is now?
Uh-huh.
You can do it in 3 different places there. So, all related. See how I did that over here in the HTML?
Uh-huh.
And we have to save, but if we do it in the CSS, we just save the file. Because doing it in the HTML, you're actually adjusting the CSS file too. Where if you do it in just the CSS, you're not adjusting the HTML. All right, so now we have our layout. Okay, well, what do we need to do next?
The desktop view.
How are we going to make this look good, though?
That right there. No, I have it on mine. Oh, I'm gonna pull out my computer. I'm on my tablet right now. Pull out my It's loading.
Because you don't have anything to make it look different, do you? And this is where those wireframes come in and the mock-ups. But if you don't have them, you guys are going to be able to make your own up.
Right.
So that's what we're going to do.
I think on tablet on mine, I have it going the opposite. Going long ways on tablet.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do is for the tablet version, which is this right here. And, well, watch this. We're going to delete that. And now we're going to do the same here. Delete that. If I don't put the maximum, it automatically goes to that as the maximum, to the next one. See how much cleaner that actually is on your code as well? So this would be the smartphone. This would be the tablet. All right, so now what we're going to do, well, let's go to the 768, which is this one, to here. Notice it says 100%. And what I did is I clicked so that everything is visible here, all right? Now, I'm going to left float. Nothing happens. I'm also going to put 25%. Okay, 25% is still too much. Oh, 35, whoops. Still too much. 15, 5, okay. All right, there we are at 11, so let's go to 10. Now, the width, notice there's no width here. So let's set a width automatically. Oh, there is. Well, that was the width, I'm sorry. So 10% width isn't going to work here, is it?
No.
So how do I get those on the same line?
Let's see, you're in tablet. Oh, I got Zoom number open now. So. Source view.
Any ideas? What can we do?
Adjust your padding. No, that one's not going to be it. It's going to be main secondary header, header 100%. Margins.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to close this, and I'm not going to save anything. Don't save. Now we're going to bring this back up. We're going to do that again. All right, let's bring up the index.
I have the way I did mine.
I'm sorry.
The way I did mine, I have my margin set at the left and the right set at auto on the container secondary.
Oh, okay. So if I go to here, really, I put auto.
On mine, I have the CSS as container secondary header UL.
Okay, so just a second. Let's go back to here. All right, so now we're right here. I'm going to save all. File, save all related files. Perfect. Wanted to make sure that I was at that one spot because I took that out last time. All right, so now let's go to desktop. Tablet. What are we going to do here? The CSS.
Oh,
okay.
That one. The tablet is 768 minimum width, body max 778.
Okay, now I took that out for a reason. Now look what happens when I add that, okay? So we're going to add one. The maximum width, right, is 778. Dreamweaver is doing its little temperamental thing right now.
Yeah, I know, mine too.
So I took that out on purpose because, well, guess what? By taking that out, it automatically takes it to that size, and then it'll switch. You don't have to have that. Now we go to here. Now let's go take a look. Let's get in here. Here's our headers. Width, let's put them at 40%. Okay. And we're going to left float. Right? Well, nothing happened, right? Okay, there's 30, 20. And now they're so short. They're too short. Okay, so now we have this. Now let's go back and we're going to switch views for a second. By doing this, I can now take that box. Okay, so I've got that box. Well, the distance between the boxes is what's off, right? Well, there's nothing here talking about those boxes. because that's the header, which is down below. This is the secondary header. That's the whole container. Well, let's take the auto out. Nothing happened. You got that? Nothing happened. So how do we change that? How do we adjust in between those two? Because, well, let's go back. Let's go back to the UL. All right, so the UL. In other words, there isn't one added, is there? So we add it. All right, now, width. There we go, and now we can sit here. Notice that's just adding that width. It's not adjusting the space between, is it?
That would be your padding.
Okay. 40.
Or you're create another CSS? No? Kind of look. I'm really going to get my eyes checked this week.
Okay, so that one didn't do it right there. So we're going to take that one out and let it sit the way it was. Now let's talk about that padding. Like you said, that padding is what's doing it in between. So let's put 5%. Nothing happened, did it? 5%. Again, nothing happened. So it did a little, but not enough that it's going to actually make that change that we need. All right, let's look at the margin. 5%. Okay, well, that did the opposite direction. Right? Okay, that takes that off the board. This one's gone. Negative 10%. That's not doing anything. So that's not the answer. Okay? So as you're seeing, the way that this one's written is going to mess that up. And this is, again, why I hate using templates, as you can see. So let's go take a look at this secondary header. Right? Well, that is nowhere. Right? Well, we don't have it. Well, let's go look up here.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Huh?
That's because I went ahead. I'm like, wait a minute, I have it.
Okay. 50-50, but there's nothing. Oh, hey, look. Let's take that out. Nope, that didn't do it. So it's not in that secondary header. Oh, let's take a look at the primary header. Nope. And this is where, oh, look, auto. Turn the auto off. Still didn't work, did it? Okay. No padding set. 95, we just played with that one.
You're on desktop or tablet?
I am on, right now I'm on the main, going through all of them. And you'll notice something we haven't discussed. This has a hover bar set up. Because of that hover bar, watch. Okay.
Yeah,
See the problem? It's giving a nice little padding around it because of the effect. All right, because of the button, that's not going to be able to happen to bring those up for this version. Does that make sense?
yeah. I took that one out.
You took the
hover.
All right, so what did I add in here? Oh, that's gone. Width. That out. There we go. We're back to there. All right, so we're going to leave that for the phone. So now you're seeing what I meant by they actually designed that for the smart tablet view at the same time. So your smartphone and your smart tablet, smartphone and your tablet have the exact same view. Because of that hover, you can't condense them. Does that make sense? That's what we have here. All right, so, all right, we'll go with that. Come down here. And then we go down to here and look. Look at that. Notice that is wider, right? That image is wider. For the A side. We don't have an A side here. But we have a right article? Yes. There's the right article. Now if I click it, container, section, right article. Now watch, because I do that, now we'll go to this article, width 100%. Still not in there. Do you know why?
Let's see.
Container section, A side, dot right side, right?
Right.
I'm going to take that out. Okay, now if I add it there, it's blank, so we're going to go to width, 100%. But it still did not go to that container. It stayed the 100%. Whoa. Well, let's try, there we go. See, it still stayed. It didn't make any effect. Well, let's take a look. Image, family type, JPEG, alt width, 460 and 263. It has a set height and width. So, percentage. We're going to get rid of this first. We don't need that. All right, so now the percentage here is going to be 60%. There we go. See how I did that? Because that is in the HTML. The HTML in that case is taking over, which it's supposed to. Remember, CSS aids in the creation of the HTML. But if you already have it dead set like that was, it's not going to adjust it. Okay, so now we go down. Everything is now adjusted the way we need it on that. Except I still don't like this. Personal preference, sorry. So we're going to go back and add H3, just like I said, the personal preference I have with that. Can you tell me?
It just looks wrong.
Well, in English, you just ran that to another line just with one word.
Right.
So the width, 100%. Oh, it didn't adjust it. Why?
Are you on the right? On the right media query?
I'm on the right one.
Are you on the the H3?
Oh, I'm not, am I?
No.
And now you see why nothing's been adjusting since we've been on this one. Key thing there. What do you need to remember?
Always check where you're editing.
Yes. Don't you love how I throw that in there? All right, now what we're going to do here, we're going to take this H3. Now we're on here. All right, and we'll add it right here. All right, now we put that, and we'll still have the same issue. Because this is set at H3, that's an actual set size. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, what I would do at this point is we'd take that out. Text, center. Everything else is centered. Why not that? See, as we go through.
Mm-hmm.
Now it looks better, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now let's go back up. All right. Now what happened here? Let's look at that. Notice that that percentage affected that next one up because I did it in the HTML. So what we need to do instead is we're going to delete this. We're going to go back, click on that image. All right, so that image, right article image, right article. It says width's 100%. Well, now let's do the image. All right, so we add the image. We put the percentage right there. And see how now that flows? Yuck. Why did it do it there?
Because, oh, why? Because that's what you have the screen on? No. Because you don't have one for the other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're going to add one there. Image, it's set at 100%. So how do we want to set this one?
Auto. Or 100.
There we go. Take a look. Now that's still a little stretchy up and down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look, let's go back to here. All I adjusted was that. Now we're going to go to this. Well, what would happen if I put 100% there?
It's going to blow up.
No, actually it doesn't because it's already limited to that box. I put it 100% of the box, the A side that it's in. That A side is right article, and it automatically has a width and height set to it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, this one's a step below it. This is inside of it. Therefore, now let's take a look here if this helps. See, the image is inside of it. Therefore, anything above it, if I set it, this goes to 100% of that, or that, or that, or that, and so on. Does that make sense now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have now created that one. Tomorrow, we are going to take this one step further. Will you be here tomorrow?
Yes.
Cool, because we're going to take this one step further and go to the desktop. Okay, so now we've got the desktop, the smartphone, and we have that one working as well, the smartphone and tablet. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm sitting here playing with Dreamweaver. Sorry.
That's fine. You know, I'd rather you play with Dreamweaver than sit there and play games or turn off and walk away from the computer.
You know, I don't like to play games.
Neither do I, but
No.
that's what we're doing, is Dreamweaver. If you're not playing with it, I'm not going to complain, but if you're playing with it as we do this, you're playing, you know what I'm saying? You're learning. You're doing what we're supposed to be doing here. All right. So that being said,
like code that I wouldn't have written.
Yeah, there's some stuff here I would have done differently. But anyway, for today, that takes us to the end of this class. Thank you for coming to class. And take a look at your feedback again. If you're missing something, make sure it's in by this Saturday. I think everybody's doing great, and everybody's in communication with their issues if they're having any, which Dreamweaver gives us issues.
Yes.
But do you realize by copying and pasting instead of going over to the CSS designer, we're not having that same issue. All we have to do is make the adjustments then, the tweaks.
Oh yeah.
Because we copy paste.
That's one thing I have learned to do. Copy paste and edit where you need to edit.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, if you're not and you're recreating each one, Dreamweaver has a fit because it overloads the program somehow. So,
well, especially on these laptops.
Oh yeah. Well, now you know the shortcut that actually, here, once before we go. By using that shortcut instead, guess what I got working last night?
How to keep it from deleting?
Yeah, it did not delete a single thing by doing the copy paste.
Yeah, that's one thing I did notice.
So if you're, and I think what happened is it actually just overloads the program in the memory because you're making it think more.
Yeah.
And with these computers, and I got the top of the model when I bought mine. That was last year, and it's already doing this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
But that is the workaround around the issues from that class. Everybody that's had that class, which I'm pretty sure everybody has. I think so too. But so you can see how I found to work around it, because other than that, everybody's like, well, retype the code. Why am I retyping? Let's go ahead and do the copy paste and adjust. And it worked, as you see. Yeah. Because until last night, when I was teaching this class, I was saying, don't do that, because no matter what we were doing, in fact, doing that wasn't working when this version came out. So that's a step ahead for them. All right. That being said, that's going to end the class for today. Thank you for coming. And I hope this is helping you. I know refreshing sometimes gets boring.
Yeah, it's a refresher, because a lot of times I think we get too comfortable using the modern tools, and then we can't figure out what the problem is.
Exactly. So that being said,